Breaking. The wrestling universe is in complete chaos right now, and what I'm about to reveal will shake you to your very core. You think you know Bianca Belair. You think you understand the picture-perfect marriage between the EST and Montez Ford. Think again. Because everything you believed about WWE's golden couple has just been shattered into a million pieces, and the fallout is so devastating that WWE executives are scrambling behind closed doors to contain what could be the biggest scandal in recent wrestling history. Ladies and gentlemen, what happened backstage at last week's SmackDown has sent shockwaves through the entire WWE locker room, and I'm talking about allegations so explosive, so career-threatening, that multiple sources are telling me certain superstars are considering legal action to protect their reputations. Before I dive into this nuclear bombshell that's about to destroy everything you thought you knew, I need you to understand something. This isn't just gossip. This isn't just rumors. This is a full-blown crisis that has WWE's top brass questioning everything about their biggest storylines moving forward. The evidence I've uncovered is so damning that I genuinely believe this could change the entire landscape of professional wrestling as we know it. The shocking allegations that nobody saw coming. Here's what we know, and brace yourselves because this is where it gets absolutely insane. Multiple backstage sources, and I'm talking about people who work directly with talent relations and have never been wrong about major WWE developments, are telling me that Bianca Belair and Jimmy Uso were caught in what can only be described as a highly compromising situation during last Friday's SmackDown taping. Now, before you start thinking this is just another wrestling rumor mill story, let me tell you exactly why this is different. The incident allegedly took place in a private area near the catering section, away from cameras, away from most of the roster, but unfortunately for everyone involved, not away from certain key personnel who witnessed everything firsthand. According to my sources, and these are people whose careers depend on accuracy, what they witnessed was Bianca and Jimmy in what appeared to be an intimate conversation that quickly escalated into something far more physical than anyone expected. We're talking about WWE's biggest female star, the woman who represents everything pure and powerful about women's wrestling, allegedly caught in a situation that completely contradicts her public persona and her marriage vows. But here's where it gets even more disturbing. The timing of this alleged incident couldn't be worse. This supposedly happened just hours before Bianca was scheduled to cut a promo about respect, loyalty, and representing the WWE Universe with dignity. The hypocrisy is so thick you could cut it with a knife. The devastating impact on Montez Ford. Now, if you think the allegations against Bianca are shocking, wait until you hear about the absolute destruction this has caused in Montez Ford's life. Sources close to the Street Profits tell me that Montez has been completely blindsided by these developments, and his reaction has been nothing short of heartbreaking. Multiple wrestlers have reported seeing Montez in what can only be described as a state of complete emotional collapse. We're talking about a man who built his entire identity around being the supportive husband, the guy who constantly promoted their relationship as the gold standard for WWE couples, suddenly faced with allegations that his wife, was involved with another married man behind his back. The psychological impact on Ford has been so severe that WWE officials are reportedly concerned about his ability to perform in upcoming matches. One source told me, and I'm quoting directly here, Montez hasn't been the same since he found out. He's like a shell of himself, barely speaking to anyone, barely eating. It's honestly scary to watch such a vibrant personality just completely shut down. But what makes this even more tragic is how Ford allegedly found out about the situation. According to Backstage reports, he wasn't told directly by Bianca or even by WWE management. Instead, he reportedly overheard other wrestlers discussing the incident in the locker room, discovering his personal nightmare through wrestling gossip rather than from the person he trusted most in the world. The emotional devastation doesn't stop there. Sources tell me that Ford has been questioning everything about his relationship, his career, and his place in WWE. There are reports of him having heated phone conversations, presumably with family members or close friends, trying to process how his fairy tale marriage could have potentially turned into such a public catastrophe. The USO family drama explodes. Jimmy Uso's involvement in this scandal has created an entirely different level of chaos that extends far beyond just him and Bianca. We're talking about a situation that has potentially torn apart one of WWE's most prominent wrestling families, and the ripple effects are absolutely devastating. According to multiple sources, Roman Reigns is furious about Jimmy's alleged involvement in this scandal. We're talking about the tribal chief being faced with a situation where his own cousin has potentially brought shame not just on himself, but on the entire bloodline legacy. Sources tell me that Roman confronted Jimmy backstage in what witnesses described as one of the most intense family confrontations they'd ever witnessed in professional wrestling. But here's where it gets even more complicated. Jey Uso is reportedly caught in the middle of this family civil war. Multiple Backstage personnel have told me that Jay is struggling with loyalty conflicts, torn between supporting his twin brother and maintaining his position within the bloodline structure that Roman has built. The situation with Jimmy's wife, Naomi, adds another layer of complexity that nobody could have predicted. Industry insiders are telling me that Naomi is absolutely devastated by these allegations, and there are reports that she's considering taking time away from wrestling to deal with the personal chaos in her life. One source close to the USO family told me, "This isn't just about Jimmy potentially cheating. This is about him potentially destroying multiple families, multiple careers, and multiple relationships all at once." The scale of the potential damage is unlike anything we've seen in recent WWE history. The Backstage political nightmare. What makes this scandal even more explosive is how it's affecting WWE's backstage politics and future storylines. Multiple sources are telling me that this situation has created a political nightmare that extends all the way up to WWE's executive level. Here's what you need to understand. Bianca Belair isn't just any wrestler. She's been positioned as one of WWE's top representatives, someone they've invested millions of dollars in promoting as a role model for young fans. The potential damage to WWE's brand if these allegations prove true is absolutely staggering. According to Backstage sources, emergency meetings have been held between WWE's top executives, legal teams, and public relations specialists to discuss how to handle this crisis. We're talking about damage control on a level that WWE hasn't had to deal with since some of their biggest scandals of the past. The scheduling nightmares alone are giving WWE officials headaches. How do you book storylines involving Bianca when her personal life is potentially in chaos? How do you continue bloodline storylines when Jimmy might be dealing with a career-threatening scandal? How do you handle the Street Profits dynamic when one half of the team is reportedly emotionally destroyed? Multiple writers have told me that they're being forced to completely rewrite storylines on the fly, not knowing from day to day whether the key players in this drama will even be available to perform. The creative chaos behind the scenes is reportedly unprecedented. The social media explosion and fan reactions. The wrestling community's reaction to these allegations has been nothing short of explosive, and social media has become a battlefield of emotions, theories, and demands for answers. What started as whispered backstage rumors has now evolved into a full-scale social media investigation, with fans dissecting every interaction, every photo, and every public appearance involving the parties involved. Wrestling Twitter has become absolutely unhinged with speculation. Hashtags related to this scandal are trending worldwide, with fans expressing everything from shock and disappointment to anger and demands for accountability. The emotional investment that fans had in Bianca and Montez's relationship is now manifesting as a sense of betrayal that's palpable across every wrestling forum and social media platform. But what's particularly disturbing is how this scandal is affecting younger fans who looked up to Bianca as a role model. Parents are reporting having to explain complex adult situations to children who simply wanted to cheer for their favorite wrestler. The family-friendly image that WWE works so hard to maintain is being challenged in ways that could have long-lasting consequences. Fan reaction videos are pouring in from wrestling content creators around the world, each trying to process the potential implications of these allegations. The comment sections are filled with fans expressing genuine heartbreak over the possible destruction of a relationship they viewed as aspirational. The legal implications and career consequences. What many people don't realize is that this scandal could have serious legal implications that extend far beyond just personal relationships. When you're dealing with public figures, married individuals, and potential damage to professional reputations, lawyers get involved quickly. Sources close to the situation are telling me that multiple parties are already consulting with legal counsel about potential defamation claims, invasion of privacy issues, and contract implications. WWE contracts contain morality clauses that could potentially be triggered by this type of scandal, putting careers and financial security at risk. The financial implications alone are staggering. We're talking about potential loss of endorsement deals, merchandise revenue, and future booking opportunities. Bianca Belair's brand value could be severely damaged if these allegations prove true, while Jimmy Uso could face consequences that affect his entire family's livelihood. But beyond the immediate financial concerns, there are long-term career implications that could reshape the wrestling landscape. If WWE decides to distance themselves from any of the involved parties, it could create opportunities for other wrestlers while simultaneously destroying years of character development and storytelling. Multiple sources are telling me that other wrestling promotions are watching this situation closely, potentially preparing to capitalize on any talent that might become available due to this scandal. The marriage and family destruction. The human cost of this scandal extends far beyond just careers and paychecks. We're talking about the potential destruction of marriages, families, and children's lives. Both Bianca and Montez, as well as Jimmy and Naomi, have built public personas around strong family values and committed relationships. Sources close to both families are describing emotional devastation that's affecting extended family members, friends, and support systems. We're talking about people who trusted each other completely, who built their lives around assumptions of loyalty and commitment, suddenly faced with allegations that could shatter everything they believed about their most important relationships. The impact on children in these families, though I won't go into specific details to protect their privacy, is reportedly a major concern for everyone involved. When public figures face personal scandals, the effects ripple through every aspect of their lives, including the innocent family members who never asked to be part of a wrestling storyline. Marriage counselors and family therapists familiar with high-profile relationship crises have told me that the public nature of this scandal adds layers of complexity that make healing and reconciliation significantly more difficult. When your personal crisis becomes entertainment for millions of people, the path forward becomes exponentially more challenging. #The locker room divide and wrestler reactions. What's happening behind the scenes in WWE's locker room is creating divisions that could have lasting effects on the entire roster's dynamics. According to multiple sources, wrestlers are being forced to choose sides in a drama that nobody wanted to be part of. Some wrestlers are reportedly rallying around Montez Ford, providing emotional support and friendship during what they view as an undeserved betrayal. Others are maintaining professional distance, not wanting to get caught up in personal drama that could affect their own careers. The women's locker room is reportedly particularly affected by this scandal. Multiple female wrestlers have told sources that they feel personally disappointed by the allegations against Bianca, viewing her as someone who was supposed to represent the best of women's wrestling. The sense of betrayal among her female colleagues is reportedly profound. Meanwhile, the men's locker room is dealing with the Jimmy Uso situation in ways that reflect the complex loyalties and politics that exist in professional wrestling. Some wrestlers view him as a friend who made a terrible mistake, while others see him as someone who betrayed not just his family, but the trust of everyone who works with him. The bloodline's internal dynamics have reportedly been completely disrupted. Multiple sources describe an atmosphere of tension and uncertainty that's affecting everyone connected to WWE's most important storyline. When personal drama intersects with professional storylines to this degree, the results can be catastrophic for everyone involved. The media circus and publicity nightmare. WWE's public relations team is reportedly working overtime to manage what has become a full-scale media circus. When allegations of this magnitude involve some of WWE's biggest stars, the mainstream media attention extends far beyond just wrestling publications. Entertainment news outlets, celebrity gossip websites, and even mainstream sports media are covering this story with an intensity that WWE typically tries to avoid for personal scandals. The company's carefully crafted public image is being challenged in ways that require crisis management on multiple fronts. Social media management has become a 24/7 operation for WWE's digital teams. Every post from any of the involved parties is being scrutinized for hidden meanings, every photo is being analyzed for clues, and every public appearance is being watched for signs of relationship status or emotional state. The timing couldn't be worse for WWE's ongoing negotiations with various business partners and sponsors. When your biggest stars are involved in personal scandals, it affects everything from television deals to merchandise partnerships. Multiple sources are telling me that some sponsors are already asking questions about their association with the involved parties. The creative chaos and storyline implications. From a creative standpoint, this scandal has created chaos that's affecting WWE's long-term storytelling plans in unprecedented ways. Multiple storylines that were months in development are now potentially unusable due to the real-life drama overshadowing the fictional narratives. The Street Profits tag team dynamic is reportedly in complete limbo. How do you continue booking a team when one half is dealing with potential marriage collapse and the other half might be involved in causing that collapse? The chemistry and authenticity that made them successful as a team could be permanently damaged. Bianca's championship pursuits and major storylines are similarly affected. WWE has invested heavily in positioning her as a top-tier talent, but personal scandals of this magnitude can derail even the most carefully planned character development. Multiple sources tell me that writers are struggling to find ways to continue her storylines without addressing the elephant in the room. The Bloodline saga, WWE's most important ongoing storyline, is facing disruption that could affect years of character development. Jimmy Uso's role in the group was carefully crafted over time, and his potential removal due to personal scandal could require complete rewrites of major storyline arcs. The industry-wide implications. This scandal is sending shockwaves throughout the entire professional wrestling industry, not just WWE. Other promotions are watching closely to see how WWE handles the situation, knowing that their own approaches to personal scandals could be influenced by whatever precedent is set here. Wrestling journalists and industry insiders are describing this as a potential watershed moment for how personal lives and professional careers intersect in modern wrestling. The era of social media and constant public scrutiny means that personal mistakes can have immediate and devastating professional consequences. Multiple wrestling personalities have told me that this scandal is causing everyone in the industry to reevaluate their own personal decisions and relationships. When you see how quickly careers can be affected by personal choices, it creates a sobering reality check for everyone in the public eye. The ripple effects extend to wrestling schools, independent promotions, and even international wrestling organizations. This scandal is being discussed in wrestling communities worldwide as a cautionary tale about the intersection of personal choices and professional consequences. The financial devastation. The potential financial implications of this scandal extend far beyond just the immediate parties involved. We're talking about millions of dollars in potential losses across multiple revenue streams, from merchandise sales to pay-per-view buy rates. Bianca Belair's merchandise sales, which have been among WWE's strongest for female performers, could be severely affected if fans lose faith in her character and persona. The EST brand that she's built could become associated with scandal rather than excellence, fundamentally altering its marketability. The Street Profits' earning potential as a team could be permanently damaged. Tag teams rely heavily on chemistry and authenticity, and when personal drama affects that dynamic, it can result in decreased booking opportunities, reduced merchandise sales, and lower fan engagement. Jimmy Uso's position within the Bloodline, one of WWE's most marketable factions, could be jeopardized in ways that affect not just his income, but the earning potential of everyone associated with the group. When major storylines have to be altered due to personal scandals, it affects merchandise, video game appearances, and even licensing deals. The psychological toll on everyone involved. What often gets overlooked in these types of scandals is the severe psychological impact on everyone involved. We're talking about people who are dealing with potential relationship destruction while simultaneously being forced to perform in front of thousands of people and millions of television viewers. Mental health professionals who work with high-profile individuals have told me that the combination of personal crisis and public scrutiny creates a perfect storm for psychological distress. The pressure to maintain professional obligations while dealing with personal devastation can be overwhelming for even the strongest individuals. The constant speculation, social media commentary, and media attention creates an environment where healing and recovery become exponentially more difficult. Every public appearance becomes a performance, every social media post becomes evidence, and every interaction becomes potential gossip fodder. Multiple sources are telling me that WWE has made counseling and mental health resources available to everyone involved, recognizing that the psychological toll of this situation extends far beyond just the immediate parties. The future implications and potential outcomes. As this scandal continues to develop, the potential outcomes range from complete career destruction to eventual redemption and recovery. The path forward will largely depend on how the involved parties handle the situation, how WWE chooses to respond, and how the wrestling community ultimately reacts to whatever truth emerges. If these allegations prove true, we could be looking at one of the most significant character assassination stories in recent wrestling history. The carefully crafted personas and relationships that fans have invested in emotionally could be permanently damaged, creating a ripple effect that affects the entire industry's approach to character development and personal branding. Alternatively, if these allegations prove false or exaggerated, we could see a different type of cautionary tale about the dangers of rumors and speculation in the social media age. The damage to reputations and relationships could still be severe, even if the original allegations were unfounded. The precedent set by WWE's handling of this situation will likely influence how other wrestling promotions deal with similar scandals in the future. The balance between personal privacy and professional consequences is being tested in ways that could reshape industry standards. The wrestling community's response. The broader wrestling community's response to this scandal has revealed deep divisions about personal accountability, privacy rights, and the intersection between entertainment and real life. Fans, wrestlers, and industry professionals are grappling with complex questions about how much personal drama should affect professional careers. Some members of the wrestling community are calling for complete separation between personal lives and professional personas, arguing that entertainment should remain separate from real-life relationship drama. Others believe that when wrestlers build their brands around personal relationships and family values, they open themselves up to scrutiny when those values are potentially violated. The generational divide in responses is particularly notable. Older wrestling fans and professionals who lived through previous eras of wrestling scandals are approaching this situation differently than younger fans who have grown up with social media and constant access to performers' personal lives. Wrestling podcasters, bloggers, and content creators are struggling with ethical questions about how much speculation and commentary is appropriate when dealing with real people's personal crises. The line between entertainment discussion and invasion of privacy is being tested in unprecedented ways. Conclusion. The aftermath and long-term consequences. As we continue to follow this developing story, one thing is absolutely certain: the wrestling world will never be quite the same after this scandal plays out completely. The potential destruction of relationships, careers, and public trust creates consequences that extend far beyond any individual performer or storyline. The human cost of this situation cannot be overstated. We're talking about real people dealing with real consequences that will affect their lives, their families, and their futures in ways that extend far beyond just their wrestling careers. The entertainment aspect of this drama should never overshadow the genuine human suffering that these types of situations create. Moving forward, this scandal will likely serve as a cautionary tale for current and future wrestling performers about the intersection between personal choices and professional consequences. In an era of social media scrutiny and constant public attention, the margin for error in personal relationships has become virtually non-existent for public figures. The wrestling industry as a whole will need to grapple with questions about privacy, accountability, and the role that personal lives should play in professional entertainment. The answers to these questions will likely shape how wrestling operates in the social media age for years to come. What happens next remains to be seen, but one thing is certain: this scandal has already changed everything for everyone involved, and the wrestling world is watching closely to see how the aftermath unfolds. The truth, whatever it may be, will ultimately determine the fate of multiple careers, relationships, and the future direction of some of wrestling's most important storylines. This is Wrestling News CC, and we'll continue following this story as it develops, bringing you the latest updates and insider information as this unprecedented scandal continues to reshape the wrestling landscape. The implications of this situation will be felt throughout the industry for years to come, and we'll be here to cover every shocking development as it happens.